Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, back with another episode of our RimWorld Rome Let's Play. So, today is a very significant day in the context of this game. And I don't mean in real-world days, I mean in-game days, because today is the first day of April May, which means we've successfully survived our second winter in this little Let's Play. And things will start moving a little bit faster. One thing about winter, especially in places where it does get cold, this biome actually wasn't supposed to get as cold as it apparently does. It was supposed to be fairly moderate, but we've been seeing negative temperatures pretty consistently. Anyway, we should no longer be seeing temperatures that cold. Therefore, our harvests are going to be much more plentiful. We should be getting food and medicine and stuff again. We might actually get some Devil Strand for once. I think we've only had a single Devil Strand harvest this entire playthrough. So hopefully we can see a little bit more of that. Between episodes, we've had one person join us, Vivian here. I haven't changed her name yet. I'll probably do that after this episode or maybe a future one, depending on name submissions from you guys and whatnot. She is going to be a Legionnaire for us, so she's got the skill set for it. She's actually got the skills for a lot of things, but she is definitely a fighter, first and foremost. She did, however, lose an eye when she fought us as a raider the first time. So I got her a unique haircut. When I say unique, I mean that... There we go. Unique in that nobody else has this. But it covers her left eye, which of course is now just a scar. So I thought that was fitting. And then she's of course got the helmet and the armor. We'll get her a Pila and a shield. That's all she's missing though. I'm going to ask her to pick that back up. And then she can go back to whatever she was doing. We have been a little bit hard pressed to keep up on food. But I don't think that will be as much of an issue now. Especially with crops coming in more regularly, and we have a few more people that can cook, her in fact being one of them. So what I've done to sort of remedy the cooking situation is, you may have seen, I put in another cooking station over here that Stin has been using. We're storing food over here, so I figured why not have it set up so that he can do something while he's just being a prisoner, and that is of course cook. He is quite a good cook, so why not? Though I've been having him make pemmican, and I don't think he's been working on anything because they didn't stock any meat in here. So I'm going to just tell him to cook simple meals. And we'll just say 6 or better, though he's the only one that should be touching this. In fact, prisoner only. Cool. So he's going to be the one that touches that. But we'll have him crank out meals. That also saves time for everybody else because nobody's going to need to haul food over here for them to eat. Though there is pemmican that they can eat. But we do desperately need pemmican. If we want to start going out onto missions and scouting out our new territory, we need food to do that. And 3 simple meals is not going to cut it if we're, sending people out for days at a time. Okay, so there is that. You may also notice that we have little paving stones around now. So I've been just trying to keep construction projects going because we have resources that are constantly being made. We also have people that are builders primarily by profession, and if they don't have projects, they just kind of linger around and don't do anything. So trying to keep them busy, and I thought this looked nice. I experimented with it like in the square here, and I thought it did look pretty good, so I stretched it to the rest of the base, and you can see we got pretty far. Also, and I don't know if I mentioned this now, I meant to a few moments ago, but I added 2 new mods to this playthrough. The first of which is effectively just another dirt path mod, but it's a different dirt path than the packed dirt path. So in my floor options, here we go. Wait, where is it? No, that's more floors. Floors, okay. I have packed dirt, I have dirt path, and I have dirt path alternate. And they're effectively all the same thing. Their stats might be a little bit different, but they're not fertile at all, so nothing will grow on them. they just look like dirt. And in the case of the dirt path, it looks a lot like regular soil. So this should solve the issue we've been having where, we constantly have to cut stuff here, or people have been suggesting making giant growing zones so that the ponds won't, let anything else grow but the crop there. But of course, having them plant, massive areas worth of crops is probably a worse waste of time than cutting trees down. So this should just resolve it once and for all. We just turn it into this dirt path here, and nothing will ever grow there. And it still keeps it visually distinct from the packed dirt paths so that we can still have, visually roads and stuff going about. The only downside is that in order to then turn, like, say, this into a growing zone right here, if we wanted to, we have to turn it back into soil first. So we have to re-terraform it, which I think is fair because these are, they don't cost any resources. They're relatively quick to do. So we effectively just have to, like, dig it back up into regular soil, and then we can till it, etc., etc. Speaking of, I think we actually need to do that right here. So let's throw down some soil. And then after that's done, we'll turn it into tilled soil. And I'm not sure what we're going to plant there. Maybe more corn. But I figure we'll go ahead and use that spot. And you know what? Let's kind of bring this out a little bit too. We'll have it fill the rest of that spot. It's a little bit awkward, but let's take advantage of all the space that we have. And we'll probably do the same over here eventually. We can cut these trees down now, though. I don't see any reason not to do that. So we'll get all that trimmed back, and then we'll put in this soil here. And when we decide to put in growing zones there, we can do that later. Okay, so there's all that. The other mod I added was, or is, one that allows me to dress patients. Somebody suggested this because we were having a hard time getting, what's her face? Oh, formerly Henson. I renamed her Elvira because of her first name, just because I thought that was a little bit more appropriate to the playthrough setting. We were having trouble getting her to put clothes on. So what this mod does is if there's somebody who is a patient, so Caro and Abram are examples right now because they're bedridden. So I could have Loka, or I guess Epicus is closer. If I click dress, it gives me this little cursor here and I can target something. So if I go over this stuff, nothing happens. But if I go over a clothing item, it glows. So I can basically tell Epicus here to grab that tunic and put it on Caro. This only works with patients, so the prisoner will need to be a patient in some way, shape, or form. That's very easy to do, though, because what I could do for, like, her, for example, if I wanted to change her clothing, is I can just apply anesthetic. It costs me inherbal medicine, but they'll basically just, knock her out, put her in bed, and then we can throw clothes on her. And that's, in fact, what I did. So that should be very useful. And I'll probably use that for every playthrough in the future, just because there's a lot of stuff that we typically do with prisoners in our playthroughs. And for example, in the future, if we do a Warhammer 40k playthrough, I've always intended to use prisoners as like servitors. And it's hard to make them into servitors if you can't get them to wear what you intend for them to wear. This makes it very easy to do that. And especially with all the operations that a servitor would be going through in order to make them a servitor, it would be very easy to take advantage of that time and put them into the equipment. So yeah, I am quite fond of that mod after trying it. So thank you very much for that suggestion. Those are the two I added, though. Still going on our research here. We're about a third of the way through microelectronics, and then again we're going to use the this little guy here to cheat or skip the multi-analyzer research and then move into fabrication. Once fabrication is done, we will be able to build components on one of these two benches. So yeah, there's all that. Also, we have a trader visiting. And they also have a person offering a mission, so we can take a look at that too. But let's let them get over here. It's very rare that we have traders, so I'm excited about that. But we'll get them here. I'm thinking, let's see, Stilico, 11, ATS. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'll let him do the talking then. Maybe we can get a good deal on something. Maybe they'll buy our fecal sludge here. And I have a lot of plain leather too, so if they're willing to buy that, that would be great. That's fox fur. Where is plain leather? Oh yeah, 2,600. The fecal sludge we can just burn. It's not a big deal. But the plain leather, I guess I could burn that too if I moved it, but I'd rather not do that. It does have some intrinsic value, whereas this doesn't. But we'll let them get over here first. Who's starving? Oh, Felix. Because he's a gourmand, right? Yeah. And it happens. Alright, so they've more or less arrived. Let's send ATS out to talk to Elda. And I don't know what we would need. I guess any sort of medicine, because we're actually out of herbal medicine, though I think we have 2 harvests coming up very soon. And more components would be nice. Oh, 15, wow. Yeah, I'll take all of that. We can finally do surgery. And it's actually not that expensive either. What else do you have? Iron weapons. I'm not really interested in iron weapons. And I mean, in general, I can manufacture these, so that's not worth it. I'll give you a cloth sling. How about that? I'm going to keep this bow, though. Not interested in firearms. Yeah, we'll keep all that. Let's try to... They're only interested in buying wood from us. I'll sell them as much wood as I can to get all of their silver, because wood is obviously something I can get very easily, though apparently they value it. So we'll start with the least valuable stuff, because it means it's been deteriorating outside for a little bit, and we'll work our way up to the most. So if we give them all that, that's already halfway. So how much of this would we have to give them? Let's try 500. It was actually pretty close. Let's do 475. Oh, I of course added, not subtracted. 475. There we go. 78. 82. Can do a little bit more. How about 85? Aha, perfect. Okay. So yeah, I'm happy to give them all that. That still leaves us with like 11, well, just over 1,000 wood and of course a billion trees that we can harvest more from. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that deal. This is like gold. More valuable than gold even at this point. That is at least a couple of surgeries worth. We'll have to see. So I accept, of course. And our relations went up slightly. ATS, who else is nearby? Because I want you to go talk. Epicus, can you haul that inside first? Oh, of course. Grab the one pawn in the area that refuses to be useful. You're unloading your inventory. I need you to come haul that, please. I don't want it to deteriorate at all. Not that it's going to happen immediately, but you know what? Here, pick that up into your inventory and then haul this. Sure, that's fine. All right, ATS, dismiss our trader friend there, but before they leave, let's check for quests. Okay, so we have 4 options. Item stash, combined assault, I've never heard of that before. Prisoner rescue, and incapacitated refugee. I'm curious about this, just because the other 3 I'm familiar with, but I don't know what this would entail even. 70 silver. We just got 800 silver from them, so that's not a big deal. Sure. Writes down a rough map. She informs ATS how and where to get started. Okay. No notification. I guess let's go to the world map. And I'm very curious to see what this is, because obviously this is added by a mod, unless there was an update that I don't know about. So it could be the city mod, which means maybe we're having to do an assault on a city, and it sounded like it was potentially assaulting alongside another faction. I don't see a quest marker. There's this peace talk, but I'm not interested in that. So, Where would it be? Oh crap, did we just waste 70 silver? It's not a lot, but still. I get the feeling it's from the mod that adds these cities. So I'm going to click around on a few of them. No. Oh, whoops. I would assume we'd be attacking a hostile faction, so like these, possibly. These guys are neutral. No, no. Right, they wanted me to bring them like 22 helmets, but I can't come up with that much metal. Or produce enough helmets in time. Yeah, I think we just blew 70 silver. I'm bummed because I would have loved to at least see what those missions are about. But it didn't give me any sort of notification. Ah, that sucks. Oh well. I'm just going to pan around a bit more and see if there's anything out of the ordinary that might indicate that it is a mission. I'm not seeing anything though. We've got all the different settlements and whatnot. Nothing really happening up at the North Pole here. It's interesting, there's only one base up there. On that whole... I don't know if you could call that a continent, because it is technically connected to the rest of this landmass, but... still, that whole piece, there's only the one. Only the one. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing anything that looks like it would be a mission, except for that peace talk. Ah, it's such a bummer. Oh well. Maybe we'll get one as, you know, sort of just a randomly generated quest, and then we will actually have more information. But oh well. We just got conned out of 70 silver. It's not a big deal. So that medicine needs to make it over to this here shelf. And then we'll probably boot these people out and operate on our friend Caro here. So we have 15 medicine. What is that going to get us? If we want to excise the carcinoma in his arm, that's going to cost us 6. So we have 9 left. It looks like these are 3 apiece. All we could do is artery blockage too. The only issue then is the plasteel. So I guess what we can do, I'm going to pause quickly here. We have 107 plasteel. So in theory, I could do the carcinoma, which I think is the biggest issue that he has. 35% pain, minus 50 part efficiency. Yeah, I think that pain is causing him a lot of problems. Probably the reason he can't get out of bed, because these don't actually cause him pain. They just mess with his moving and manipulation. Which means he wouldn't be particularly useful, but he would be at least upright and moving about. So the carcinoma will go first. That's 6 medicine. And then we have enough for 3 of these other types of surgeries. But we only have enough plasteel for 1 of these 2. And in fact, we don't have enough plasteel for that one at all. So we can fix his bad back and his artery blockage, and we'll have 3 medicine left over. We'll have to see if anybody else has like artery blockage, for example. But we could at least fix his bad back. And that would be a pretty significant improvement to his movement, and a small improvement to his manipulation. The frailty is still going to affect both pretty negatively, though, but I don't have enough plasteel to cure that. Unless we could come up with 13 plasteel. But I don't know where we would find it. I don't recall how we got this, even. I don't think we mined it. It might have been a meteorite if we did. Otherwise, it may have been something we picked up on a raid or something like that. But so far, the only stuff that I've really found on the map that we can actually mine is, of course, iron, steel. Oh, hello, dead animals. I need to do this more often, because there's always animal corpses about. Look at that, 3. That's a couple of dinners. But yeah, iron, steel, copper, and bronze. Haven't found any compacted machinery with the exception of the meteorite over here. But yeah, everything else is copper, some steel there. This is all iron. And there's a lot of copper around. We got most of the bronze, if not all of it. Anyway, maybe we'll get lucky and another trader will sell us some. We'll start with the carcinoma. We can do the artery blockage too, though that one's not as big of a deal, if I'm being honest. But one thing at a time. That's all that matters for right now. Who did I send to grab the medicine? Did she just like run all over the place? I'm trying to remember who it was now. I think it was Vivian. Nope. She's going to bed. Should have paid more attention to who it was I was sending. I want to make sure all 15 of it makes it there. Okay, so it was Hilda. And yes, it all made it there. I'm going to forbid it so that nobody touches it. And nobody here can receive anything better than herbal. I should check all the prisoners as well, because I do not want any of this getting wasted. This is surgery only. I'm pretty sure you have like no medicine. Fox, are you somebody we were going to recruit? I don't think so. Oh, I set you to release, yeah. I don't know why they're taking so long to do that. Cut him loose, cut her loose already, and we don't have to worry about feeding her anymore. Yeah, animals and art, just not something I really need. Not with where we're at right now. Just too many people to feed right now. So, better to just be rid of them. What are you working on? Pila. Okay. Got a lot of in-progress stuff here. Unfortunately, Gallo generates a lot of it. It'd be nice to get rid of some of this leather, too. I'm just not sure what we can make with it. Alright, so I think we're going to attempt this operation. Got to do a little bit of micromanaging here to move some people around. Unfortunately, it starts with booting these three out of bed. So, first of all, we'll mark this as a prison area. That'll kick them all out. And then, let's see, good, normal, excellent. We'll mark that one as the medical bed. So he should get moved to that one. And then we, need to... I'll let her finish feeding Abram there. But we need to set these as, what do you call it? Let's get that going. We need to set them as non-prisoner beds. That way they'll get moved. Or he'll get moved anyways. Okay. So grab the beds. No longer prisoner. Ashura, please take him to the operating room. And then we can immediately set those back as prisoner. Gogwa, before you go do that, do you think you could lay Abram back down? And I believe he's going... No, don't do that. Ah, crap. Whatever. I should have waited. Apparently we got another named horse. Cool. Alright. If Abram gets moved over, that's fine. He'll get moved back eventually. Okay. So, Caro. Let's allow some medicine there. And we're going to ask Tanya to do this. She's currently butchering. Do me a favor. Oh, she's not doing it yet. Okay, I was going to say, wash your hands first. Come and... Cannot excise carcinoma, need material. Oh, that's why. Please come and operate. And let's cross our fingers. Place looks pretty clean. Think we'll be okay. With her skill level at, what, 16? And then with proper medicine, I think we've got a very good chance. Sanders is in a daze. I don't really care that my prisoners are in a daze, if I'm being honest. Let's get back over here. If he dies, I'd prefer to actually see it happen. I hope he doesn't, though. Not only is he no longer a guilty prisoner, that ship is long sailed, but he actually has several family members in the colony, which I've mentioned a few times. So this particular clan, if we want to call it that, is actually a big part of our faction. So Bilarar, who's one of our fairly early legionnaires, and then also Felix, who joined us pretty early as well. And then he's also friends with Artemis. But yeah, so the Ganyo clan. Cool, she was successful. So let's take a look. I mean, obviously with the anesthetic, we're not going to be able to see the immediate impact, but when the anesthetic wears off, we will. As soon as she's done feeding him, though, I am going to kick them out of these beds. So, no longer for prisoners. Do me a favor, take him to bed. What are you up to? I don't know why you would need to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there. This is Tanya's bed again. And then they get moved back to these beds. Why would they use the medicine? Like, what was he doing? Do you guys need it? No, 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 and no. Yeah, I'm not sure why he would need medicine. Cassius is the only one here that's been injured, but he's already patched up. So that is not a problem. Once we get a little bit more of herbal medicine in through the harvest, I will probably go through and find some of those scars that people have, like his old gunshot wound, and we'll try to remove those as well. But I'm going to only do that with herbal medicine. So I'd like to wait until a few more have found their way in here. I'm going to set these back to medical beds now that we don't have people sleeping in them. I gave them a couple sleeping spots on the floor in these bedrooms. It's obviously not ideal, but at least they have a warm place to sleep. And hopefully we'll resolve this whole living situation relatively soon. Oh, new recruit. Stin. Stin, okay. Yeah, go ahead and ditch that corn. And then let's get you out here. Okay. I'm going to immediately welcome you to the Legion by having you strip naked in the middle of night. Out in the open here. And then we're going to ask you to burn your clothes. Oh, I'll ask you to undraft first. As, what, a sign of leaving his past behind? I don't know. I'm just pulling this out of my ass. But, yeah, please burn that stuff. Okay, apparently he can't do the rest. I don't need you sewing stuff. I would actually prefer you come get dressed. And in fact, let's set him to civilian clothes because he's not much of a fighter. We'll also make sure he's only getting herbal medicine. And then Stin, let's look at your work tab here because we have to reset it now that you're a colonist. Right. Animal handling. He's pretty good. I'll leave that at a 3 for now. Cooking. Probably the thing we need most from him, so I'm going to set that to 1. Cooking is the only job, other than doctoring and this sort of non-job stuff, that I ever set at 1. Hunting, you're terrible at combat, if I recall, so let's make that just no. Growing, I don't think I mind him helping with that. Plant cutting, we'll put it 2 as well. Performing, or sorry, art, no, don't really need that from you. Those can stay at 3, I think. So main job is going to be cooking. He's going to do that before anything else, except for like flipping switches or getting treated if he's dying, or I guess even then he might call it a toss-up. There's no cooking to be done. He's going to help with the farming, or I guess cutting trees back, stuff like that. Anyway, and if there's no cooking or farming to be done, then he will either help keep the animals trained, or he will haul for us. Cool. And I'll change his appearance up a little bit too. Not much, but I'll try to give him something a little less vanilla looking. He's not going to be wearing a helmet, so he should have, a decent haircut and stuff. Though I kind of like the handlebar mustache on him, I'll try to keep that. Why are you hauling stuff? Why would you need to do that? Let's see, what is he going to do? He might just be stacking it. In fact, that's probably what they were trying to do over here. Now that I think about it, I thought he was going to use it on somebody, but I think he was just going to consolidate, which I suppose is okay, but wasn't immediately necessary. How many prisoners do I have wandering around the base? Because I don't know that I need all these sleeping spots. Why is Fox still here? God. How do I boot somebody out manually? Oh, there's a shield done. Yeah, I can't actually force them to do it. Oh wow, they're just dumping stuff on the ground. Okay, so who needs Legionnaire equipment? Let's start from this end. You're an archer, and it looks like you're all set to go minus your cloak. You've got everything you need, though. Your shield is probably due to be replaced, but since you have one, we'll call that fine for now. You're good to go. She needs a Pila. So as soon as she's done smoking that raw meat, she can go ahead and equip this. Remus, you're good to go. Danica is not a fighter. Talissa's not a fighter. You're an archer. Looks like you have everything you need. Hilda is an archer. We need to get her armor and a helmet, actually. Or at least a hat or something. Some sort of head protection, even if it's very minor head protection. She's all equipped. You're all equipped. You're looking good. Looking good there as well. I think everybody has pretty much everything they need. He's missing a shield, but I want him to be visually distinct because he's supposed to be a Celtic auxiliary. Though I kind of gave up on that with everybody else. So it might not really matter all that much. I guess what we'll do is... why don't you come take this better shield and we'll destroy the one that you have. Because I can't repair it, so I may as well scrap it. It's made out of wood anyway, so it's not a big deal. And I don't think anybody needs a sword. Like, you are just worthless in combat, right? Yeah, I'll get him a knife or something so he has a weapon, but there's no point in giving him a gladius. Are you actually going to finish one of your projects? Look at this guy. Oh, great. Got 2 horses with the plague. Let's make sure they get treated. Yeah, I mean, they're set for medicine. Tanya, I'm going to call you up for that one. Prefer these horses not die. As long as we give them basic treatment with herbal medicine, though, they should be fine. Plague is just like an infection. It's more dangerous than, like, muscle parasites, but it does go away quickly, unlike muscle parasites. So there is that. So 86% should be more than sufficient. But yeah, it's basically just an infection. Just an infection that doesn't require a wound to spawn from. But yeah, immunity's already overtaken it. Should be fine. Luckily, it was only 2 horses. If it was a lot of them, we could have been in real trouble. Who's missing a ranged weapon? You need a Pila. Oh, but I already sent you to grab one. There we go. Okay, that box is ticked. And then Talissa and Ursus have damaged stuff. Your shield also needs replacement. What does she have that needs replacement? Oh, her cloak. That's okay. It's not a big deal. I'm trying to decide how I want to set this up. I think what I'm going to do is... we actually need to go in here. For our Legionnaires, we're going to maintain the same look that Aetius and Constantine have had with the cape that's kind of, just sitting on their shoulders and then draped down the back. For the archers, just to make them a little bit more visually distinct, I'm going to give them, I think, what she's wearing, which is this here that kind of comes down in the front. They're still going to be red. So everybody's going to have a red cape. It's just that the archers will have more of like a proper cloak that kind of covers most of their body, versus the Legionnaires will have the front of their armor a little bit more exposed. And I think that will kind of help me tell them apart at a glance. Obviously, the Legionnaires have you know, for the most part, identical helmets, whereas the archers kind of have a mixed bag of headgear, either like hats, headbands. In some cases, they do have helmets, but they are these open sort of Greek helmets. I think they're the Boeotian helmets. Yeah, something like that. So I just noticed Caro isn't in his bed, and in fact, he's right here. Finally walking around for the first time, maybe ever. At least since he's been taken captive. Though, again, I don't remember how he was even fighting, because none of his health issues were inflicted by us. Though maybe the eye was something we did. But obviously, the cancer wasn't us. And none of these issues due to old age have anything to do with us. So, yeah. But he's finally up and about. Hopefully this means we can recruit him a little bit faster now that he's not confined to a bed. And it also means we can put him to work. Which, he's actually a decent doctor. Maybe animals. He can help with the horses and anything that's, you know, hanging out inside the base. Plants is not something he's going to be able to contribute much to because all of the crops are outside. But all in all, I am just glad that he's, you know, finally not stuck in a bed. And I hope that he can join us soon, because my thought was when we finally put together the group that we're going to send off to wherever we, you know, set up the new base, which was going to be, why am I clicking on guests? Oh crap. Come on. Why is this being dumb? Okay, well, I'll do it like this. Right, so we're going to set up in here somewhere. I was thinking like there or maybe on the river itself. But when we send that group, we're going to need to leave a group behind to defend this. And since he is the elder of the Ganyo clan, and the Ganyo clan is the biggest in our current faction, and also I think made up entirely of fighters, I figured I would maybe make him an officer and leave him in charge. I know it seems a bit sudden to basically recruit the guy and promote him, but he is obviously an elder. He is a pretty decent character, a solid fighter, and also, you know, capable of taking care of people. And that means that I can bring my current officer group along with us, which will be incredibly useful because all three of them are great builders. So when we're building a new city, that's a useful skill to have. And also so that I can keep Stilicho and his lieutenant Aetius together. Now, in the future, if we decide to build our little outpost fort here to see if we can use this as a choke point, that might be something that I give direct command over Aetius to, and Stilicho can maybe govern the city. But in terms of leaving this behind, I think I'd rather leave it to somebody like him, so that, again, I can send my top 3 builders, who are also my top 3 officers, off to construct the new town, or city, or whatever we call it. Okay, so I completely forgot about these, but these growing zones are, well, the soil for the growing zones are done, so we're going to go into floors and till this soil. Whoops, that was, I think, bigger than I intended. I'm going to till that too. 7 by 7. It said 8 for a second, maybe it just lagged. But we'll get those done. Once they're tilled, well, even before they're tilled, we can start actually turning them into growing zones. And I guess I'll go ahead and make this corn for the time being. Over here, we're just going to expand this zone into that spot. Why would he do all but one of those? Right, somebody else probably already has it claimed. Yeah, Danica. I wish they would change how pawns prioritize that. For example, if Ursus is working right here, rather than having, like, Danica, who's over here claim the tile next to him. What would be nice is if the AI calculated the furthest tile from, you know, him working. So she would come start on this corner because somebody's already in that area, and he would just continue to work on whatever's immediately around him. She would pick up on the far end and do the same, and they would meet in the middle. And that would be more efficient. What they do instead is he'll be working on this tile, and she'll be halfway across the map and decide she wants to help with the one right next to him. And then he will go run off and do a different part because all the ones around him are claimed by people, you know, here and here and here who are coming to join, but are, you know, picking spots that are already effectively occupied. So I wish they would fix that, or if somebody would make a mod that would do it, but I imagine that is quite complex. I don't think it would be very easy at all to do with a mod, because you're talking about, you know, rewriting AI, which is probably mostly, if not entirely, hard-coded. So yeah, I don't know, but unfortunately the way it works currently in game is just not ideal at all. But with that, I think we'll call it a day. My goal for between episodes and going into the next episode, is to take this opportunity, now that we're into spring, and just pump out as much food, especially pemmican, as we possibly can. If we can get together a nice little stock of food, we can go ahead and start maybe sending some people to get set up on that new tile location. I'm trying to figure out what the best way to go about it would be. I'm thinking that if we can send maybe a small group of like 3 people to get started, because the fewer we send initially, the less of a problem food will be. Of course, it'll take them longer to get built up, but we don't need to worry about supplies as much. If we send like 3/4 of the colony, we need to be able to feed 3/4 of the colony right from the start when we get there. So if we could send like Aetius to oversee the construction proceedings, and then like 2 other legionnaires that have a good variety of skills, and we can get a little camp started and then slowly add to that, I think that would be the best way to go about it. But if you guys have experience with multiple colonies on a single playthrough, let me know what your experience was and how you went about it. Obviously, if we had infinite food and infinite supplies, we could just send everybody at once and it wouldn't really be a problem, but we don't, and that very much will be a problem, I think. So I do think a smaller group of maybe 3 to start out with is going to be the best, but I'm definitely happy to hear from you guys if you have any experience on the matter. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I had a great time playing some RimWorld with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here for the next episode.